Peace, peace.
Peace.
Welcome, everybody. We're at another installment of the AIJ segment. I'm here with I had the honor of being up here with two very bright young men. I have my man Jesse
Peace.
and Joab. So, how you guys feeling?
Are we good? Yeah. Finally back up here after the last time that we were here, so it's nice and refreshing.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good to come down and see the people. I like this format. I like to have the discussion and flesh out all these different ideas. So, the title for today it's a seasonal title. It says, The Passover, a Declaration of War. What does that mean to you guys? Like that title alone. First off, that's a fire title. Passover, a Declaration of War. When I seen it, I was like, ooh, that's good. That sounds like a series that I want to watch. Passover, a Declaration of War. How's the Passover even? It's a seasonal one, right? Because we're coming into our new year, our 40th year, matter of fact, and our Passover comes along. It's a gift that's given unto us along with the new year. So when you think of the Passover and how's a declaration of war, how does that strike you?
You want to jump in first, or should I?
Go ahead.
So, we're now in this season, right? All these other pagan holidays, like the last time that me and Job were up here, they're coming around during this time, and we're making a lesson about it because we have our own time. This season, Passover, what you said was a declaration of war against all the other pagan holidays that are going around. Like, not everyone has their same new year. Like, China has their own new year, the U.S. has its own new year, and we're now having our new year. Mm-hmm. So that's what I see it as.
I mean, I see it personally, like, just reading the title and looking at it, it does sound like what it is. Like, when you think of it, Passover, a declaration of war, what does that sound like? Huh? It definitely is what it sounds like, because when the God of Israel told Moses to go to the Pharaoh and say, hey, release my people, or else I'm going to send 12 plagues upon you. Was it 12 or 7?
12.
It's 12, yeah. I thought I got it right. Pound it back for me. So yeah, it's definitely a declaration of war.
It was 10.
Oh yeah.
10.
10?
It was a lot, basically, what you said. It was more than 2. He said a lot. He said enough to where he was basically is equivalent to you throwing haymakers on somebody, just like, hang on. Like, once somebody hits you and you hit twice, and then the third one is just like, I lost count after that. I just know I'm being pummeled right now. I'm being beat. Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah, so where are we starting?
I mean, okay, where are we starting? There's a lot of different ways we could start because this topic is I love our culture and our history because it's so very much rich. And thinking about like knowledge, like there's so much knowledge to be acquired, and there's so many different levels to that same knowledge, right? So many people read the Bible and read the scriptures, and they look at it the first time, and they see certain things come out from that scripture that stands out to them that they could take away. But then, probably like a week or maybe a month or however long you want to put in between, but you read it again, and based on life and how life is such a beautiful teacher, based on how you've lived your life, like something may be revealed to you the next time that you edify yourself when you read the scriptures. And I think that's such a beautiful process and a beautiful principle. And the scriptures talks about edify and meditate in the scriptures, and that's for very much good reason. People like to say like, oh, you guys talk about the same thing, the same stories. It's Passover. Guess again. They talking about the Passover. Like, yes, it's Passover season. And we're talking about the Passover, right? In the atonement season, we're going to be talking about atonement. And it's going to be as enriching as the first time that I've read it, because I may get something that I've never seen before after reading that scripture again or reading that story again. Maybe I lived certain something happening in my life, and it's like I can resonate with this on a different type of level. Like in my brain, I'm in communication mode. Like we're having a communications class right now, and I know I'm going on a tangent, but I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna fall back. But we have a communications class that we're doing here at the Nation. So my brain is in communications mode. Like my brain is looking at all the different elements of communication and how everything is in communication with you. And there's so many things to be learned in this life. And like when I think about like wisdom, when I think about the title, even Passover being a declaration of war, I think it's been very clear from, there's a reason why the God of Israel always refers back to the story. Refers back to the story of the Passover, of the exodus of his people, because that was such a fundamental part of our history, right? And it was a declaration of war against arguably the most powerful nation
During that time.
Like so much, you think about Egypt, when you think about Egypt, you gotta think about America. And we'll make the correlations, the parallels between America and Egypt, but you have to think about America, like all the knowledge. Think about that, like Egypt, they used to come to Egypt for the schooling. Even Moses was educated in the courts in Egypt, right? So the knowledge is there, but to transition from having knowledge, because you can have a whole lot of knowledge. Like some people may have some nuggets over here. Some people may have, a little bit of nuggets over here. And it's, it has its value. But to be able to exercise wisdom, and America has a lot of knowledge as well. But to be able to exercise wisdom, it's like to be able to accumulate all these different nuggets that people like to isolate, put in a vacuum, and look at it from a bigger picture and be like, oh man, this is a lot of money.
Like getting different perspectives of a story.
Exactly.
Because there isn't just one side of a story.
There isn't just one side of the story. There's always context, especially with the scriptures. Like context is so important. You can't just open it and read from Psalms or read from the New Testament. You actually do have to start from the beginning, like any other book.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So with wisdom, we've been here at the Nation, we've been talking about Isaiah 19 a lot. And I'm not going to get into Isaiah 19, but there was something that we were reading and it did kind of stood out to us a little bit when we read it. So we might as well go over there to Isaiah 19 real quick. Because Isaiah 19 is a lot of, when we talk about richness and a lot of meat, Isaiah 19 has a lot of meat. That's a prophecy that we're about to read. And we've been going over it for about like 5 years now. We're still on verse 17. We haven't got through the whole chapter. There's just so much. And then we do the recap and we read about, and this all falls in line with the edification, because you do the recap again and you read verse 1 and it's just like, oh, actually, now that I'm reading this again, this actually is here. But anyway, I digress. So Isaiah 19. Anyone of you guys want to read?
Let me know when to stop. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
Okay, so very first chapter. How's that resonate with y'all?
Reminds me of some of the other past scriptures and readings that whenever the God of Israel comes down, the entire earth shakes, mountains start galloping, all the trees start falling down. Like you can just picture what's going on, but you can't see him.
Right. A lot of.
And it even describes it a lot when the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved. Their gods already trembling at the feet of the God of Israel, off the bat.
Right.
He didn't even say anything. He didn't even do nothing yet.
And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the sight of. And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
So why Egypt though? Like why is it Egypt? The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. I love how the God of Israel is described in the scriptures. It's always so beautiful and poetic, man. He comes rideth upon a swift cloud. He was to ride on a swift cloud. You understand? And shall come into Egypt. Why is he coming into Egypt? Why is it always Egypt? What is it about Egypt that is like, this is our enemy?
He has business to deal with them.
Yeah, it's like from here, and this is the prophecy, right? This is prophesying about the future, and it's prophesying about overcoming Egypt, the burden of Egypt, and how the hearts of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And then we have that juxtaposed to our own history, that we could look in our past and we see Egypt and the role that they played in our whole story. And it's a very they're like our main nemesis, really. You think about it.
But we even came from them too.
Right. Right. All right, let's continue. Let's go to verse number 2.
And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts.
Okay. So we're getting into the fat of this lamb right now, and I don't want to get into the fat. I wanted to really stress that when we think of the Passover, and the title being the Passover, a declaration of war. From the beginning of time, in my brain, I'm in war mode right now. Everything is war to me right now. And I think about the beginning of time, when the God of Abraham went and knelt down and put his hands in the soil. That was wartime at that time. You understand? Like, he had casted down 1/3 of his angels down to the earth. There was war at that time. From the very beginning, there was war. And there still is war, right? Mm-hmm. And so we look and we see Egypt, and we see this is very intentional how the God of Israel is. He's very intentional with who he chooses to be his enemy. And the Passover, the story of the Passover is a direct war against all these different gods. How you guys feel about that? What's y'all take about that? Like the relationship between the God of Israel and Egypt.
Must be from when his people were lost within that city, and then eventually Moses had to come by and take them out. But even after that, they still chose to go back. Some of them chose to go back to Egypt anyways, which is probably why he hates Egypt as well.
Yeah. Very powerful spirit. What about you, Joab?
Yeah, well, he basically took the words out of my mouth. I was just going to say all that.
All right, let's fast forward in Ezekiel. I said about to say Ezekiel. I'm looking at Ezekiel right now. Let's fast forward to verse 11.
Verse 11.
So this is what, when we was reading it, this stood out to me. So go ahead.
Job?
Verse 11, Isaiah 19. Surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of wise, the son of ancient kings? Mm-hmm. Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what the Lord of hosts hath purposed upon Egypt. The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the say of the tribes thereof.
All right. That's enough of Isaiah 19. We can't go any further because there will be discussions and think pieces, and everybody will veer off what we're trying to go. But true. The princes of Zoan and the princes of Noph. What is? Does anybody know Zoan and Noph, what that is, or who? Prince of Noph, where is that even? They're different gods, but they're also cities that were inside of Egypt. Like Moses went into one of those cities when he had to go and speak to Pharaoh, right? So it's like, it's not just the city.
It's the spirit that goes there.
Okay, that's what I was waiting on. It's the spirit, right? This is, we like to pride ourselves here at the Israelite nation. We're not it's not about this physical building. It is. It has its place where we have to do our due diligence, but this is a spiritual nation, right? We are a spiritual nation because everything on this earth is governed by the Spirit, right? And that's that wisdom. So even when you read and it talks about, where are they? Where are thy wise men? Like, where are they? Where are the wise men? Where they at? Like when you, like what is even a wise man? What makes a man wise? You think?
That's a good question, actually.
What do you think, Joab? You a young kid.
Well, there's a few things that come to mind when you say somebody is wise. First is understanding, because without understanding, you could read it. Anybody could pick up this Bible and read it, but they can't. If you don't understand it, then you don't know what's happening. It doesn't make sense overall. But if you can understand what it's saying, that already puts you above many people in terms of wisdom and understanding and wiseness. So I'd say that's definitely one of the key components of being a wise man.
That resonate with you, Jesse?
Yeah. I was thinking that it's also not always about the knowledge that you carry too. Like someone could be smarter in this area, someone could be smarter in that area, but that does that necessarily mean that they are smarter than you or under you?
Right.
Also depends on the knowledge that you carry and how you use it as well.
Very interesting, very interesting. So now that we're coming into the Passover, okay, so that was a great question. Where are a wise man? What is it to be wise, right? And I heard, it's be able to, we spoke about context, is be able to have the real context to a situation or a topic or an idea. That's how you could just separate the fools from the wise men, basically. And they're saying in Isaiah 19, verses 11, surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The princes, these are highly educated men. These are highly educated people. And I'm not talking about physically, this is not about the actual land. This is not, everybody has to understand. And I'm stuttering because it's you have to understand when we read in Deuteronomy 28, verses 68, and that you will be brought into Egypt again. And we talk about the spirit of Egypt all the time. It's not about the place, right? It's not about the place, but it's about the methods that was used. It's about the practices, the procedures of oppression that's that spirit that we're talking about, like a spirit of oppression and confusion and perversion. When we think about Egypt, right? And that spirit is not tied to a land, right? But it was if you know the history behind Egypt and Babylon, all of that is they have a very adoptive culture. They don't go in and be like, this is what we're doing. It depends on who they're subjugating, and they'll come and they'll take on everybody's culture, right? They'll take on everybody's culture and implement it into their own. So it's that process, that method of taking this one nugget over here and hoarding that nugget. Okay, this must be the truth, and not truly understanding that there are so many different nuggets to acquire great wealth. Like when we're talking about wisdom and understanding, that's a wealth of knowledge and information, right? Wisdom.
Takes pieces from other nations and adopts it into itself and then transforms into something else or something new.
So, Passover season, it's a declaration of war. Who are we at war against?
Anyone who's not Israel.
That's a good answer. Anyone who is not. Let's go ahead, Auntie Daniela.
Can you hear me? Is this on?
Hold on, Mike.
Okay, I'll just speak up.
We can hear you.
All right, so to the wise men, when the Bible speaks about wise men, especially pertaining to Egypt, what it usually means is their wise men are their magicians. And the magicians of Egypt so these are people who are initiated in the spiritual practices that made Egypt great. That's why they're magicians, right? They can, whatever it is they do, but they're almost like priests. So when the God of Israel comes in and they say, where are your wise men, Egypt, it's almost like saying, where are your priests? Where are your mighty men? Where are your gods? What are you going to do?
That sounds like a declaration of war to me. You know, where are your wise men? Where are your men at? Where are your soldiers at? Where are your priests at? Where are they? I don't see them. Right? So seeing as Egypt as the enemy, right? Because it's like very high spiritual manifestation here, spiritual practices that Egypt indulges in, right? So it's like this spirit of perversion is what we're up war against, basically. And then now you could start to put into place the pieces as far as how is America, or the Americas, I should say, how are they tied to Egypt at all? In any type of way. How they even tied to Egypt? You
Let's
guys
see.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about I ask the congregation a question?
Sure.
What made Egypt great? And then, once you have your answer this. What made America great? What built it up from the ground up?
What made Egypt great? The children of Israel. You know, that was my first thought too. It's the children of Israel.
So what made America great? The children of Israel.
So it's the same people, different place, same spirit. See, spirits aren't tied to one place. They could go out and about. They could go to a spiritual realm. They could go to a physical realm. And here, what we're talking about, there's a spirit in Egypt, and then when we were out of there, the spirit was like, "Hey, these were the guys I was after, the children of Israel, right? Oh, they're in America, all right. Let's head over there. Let's see what they're doing. Let's see how they're doing over there, all right? I'm like, why would I let the power escape from me?
Right. Yeah. Why would I let the power escape? I like that.
Yeah.
I like
Pop
that.
over to their place, see what's going on.
Yeah. Why would I let the power escape? And it's really all about the power with this system. Us being at war with this system is all about power, right? You have a comment, Uncle Brian?
Yeah, so you're talking about what made Egypt great. And then, of course, the people that saw Egypt, and they saw Egypt's might, and they saw how Egypt would build things, and they saw the money in Egypt, which is America, and then they said, you know what? Egypt's going to waste. We need to take those things. How can we transfer those things into our country? But they kept a lot of those things silent, and a lot of the stuff that whoever built it up, they didn't want record of that, so they chiseled off some noses, they broke some things, they rewrote some things, and then they brought everything over and then made their own laws, right? America, right? And then they put you at the very bottom, right? And said that they own you, which they can't technically because the God of Israel owns us, right? So it's a good point that you were talking about, Job, as far as, you know, how did these things come about, right? But when you look at the American dollar, the U.S., the story's right there, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. You have the eye of Horus on the dollar there. And that's that exact, like, people would think of America and Egypt and how they relate, and that's normally the first one that they think about is the dollar bill, right? Because that's the one that's in your face. Everybody needs some money. Everybody's trying to count some money. You notice, okay, damn, it got the pyramid on there. It's very interesting, right? Everybody got to deal with some money. So, okay, I see you have another one. Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. The reason why I'm talking about that is because when I came here, I was young, so I'm from the States, right? So I was born in Harlem. And the reason why, I was born in Harlem, Harlem Hospital. Moved here, I don't know, I was like 5, probably. Yeah. Well, no, technically, whatever, doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to say is, coming from there and then being here, we can see how Elder says, pillar at the border. We are the pillar at the border. Because when you look out and you see how the infrastructure is and the great power that America has and what they've instilled, the obelisks, right? You've got shrines, you've got liquor store in each corner, right?
The churches too. Churches as
well.
Oh
Yeah, church and liquor store, right? You know, church and liquor store, church and liquor store. That is like through and through. So that's the reason why I wanted to share about the American dollar, because there's so much in the dollar itself. The imagery is it's ridiculous, but the story is right there. It's right in front of you.
Yeah. Even yesterday, I searched up American dollar bill, took a look at it, and was like, oh wow, it's right there. And I didn't even know that until now.
Oh, for
They're
real?
not even hiding
Yeah,
it.
yesterday.
They're not even hiding it.
It was like right there.
Oh, you didn't know that? I feel like everybody knew. Okay, that's good. Well, these
We're-
guys
we're
are
in
Canadian.
Canada.
They don't-
Yeah, we're in
they're
Canada.
Canadian. They have the plastic money that you guys have. But yes, to Uncle Brian's point and to you guys' point as well, you can see the parallels between America and that spirit of Egypt. Not only like spiritually, and we'll get into like the spiritual real alignment between those two in the Catholic Church, but physically, you see it physically on the dollar. Even when we talk about, Uncle Brian had mentioned the obelisks. Those same obelisks, the Washington Monument, that's from Egypt itself. It's not a recreation. And you have all these different obelisks and like, okay, the obelisks come from Egypt. But ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a nice statue, right? But it's like, no, what was the purpose of the obelisk to begin with?
Yeah. Why did you bring it from another country all the way to here?
And to Joab's point, it's about that power. It's like they did their history and they did their homework, and it was like, all right, what was the most powerfulest, what was the greatest nation that had the most influence in history? All right, oh wow, it's Egypt. You see how all these different nations are influenced by Egypt. And you're like, oh, okay. And then now this is the perversion and the not implementing wisdom, because the wisdom you have a broader understanding of the situation. But you're able to have certain nuggets and pervert the truth and be like, okay, well, I understand some spiritual things, some things about familiar spirits, some things about spiritual practices. Okay, let me see if I can use this to my benefit. Let me see if I could, to Joy's point, like the power, like I need the power. And normally people who are looking for the power, they're not in service of the people. 9 times out of 10. They're not in service of the people. And you see the same spirit of Egypt is not only the pursuit of power, but it's the oppression of the people. Like you see, like how you said, you see the children of Israel in our history in the past, and they were oppressed. They built Egypt up. They built the pyramids. Yeah. And then you look at America, and what are you seeing? It's the same thing. It's that same spirit that moves to oppress these people, right? And that's why it was used.
Same spirit that's being entertained by those. And from all the statues, the buildings, the people, like that spirit transformed a little bit. Like it looks a little different, but it's really the same spirit from before. Like right now, we in America, they have the Catholic shrines, churches, and in Egypt they had their own gods too, right? Like this god was like what are the names? What are the names of them, and then what do they do?
That's a good point, Jesse. So this falls in line with the Passover being a direct, like very direct. Like when we read and we talk about like, where are your wise men? Like where are they? I'm looking for them. I can't find them. Like I'm looking at you. I'm trying to see what's a threat here, and I cannot find them. And the God of Israel with the Passover, the story is such a beautiful story. And it's a reason why this is used from generation to generation, because you'll see this is a direct attack to all these different gods that they have. And Egypt has a whole lot of them, right? But in the nation of Israel, there's only but one, right? So there are a few gods. Before we get into that, let's get into Deuteronomy 28. Let's read that scripture, because people still may not be convinced about Egypt. So, what is Deuteronomy 28 for the people who don't know?
So, what verse are we starting from?
We'll get at the end. We'll read the last one. But Deuteronomy 28, what are they talking about in Deuteronomy 28?
How we will be enslaved again.
Right. The blessings and the curses. Like one of the curses being enslaved. So the blessings and the curses, right? So if you read, what do you guys want to read? The last verse of chapter 28.
Drop.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 68.
The last verse.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Okay, so ye shall be brought into Egypt again. So we've been there, that's an implication. We've been there before, and you'll go there once again. But what's the interesting part about this one, with this new transfer to this Egypt? Like, when you guys read that, what do you guys see?
And no man shall buy you. It's the fact that you're already in the land, you're already enslaved. Like, no one needs to buy you because that one person is already controlling that land. Because you're in it, you're already bought.
Okay. What about you, Joab?
Well, first of all, it says, ye shall go into Egypt again with ships.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're so close to Egypt, why do we need ships to come back? So
Right.
maybe we're not going to the same lands of sand. Maybe we're not going back to Egypt itself. Maybe we're going to the other side. Maybe we're going to a great nation known as America to this day now.
And the Spirit followed along.
Oh yeah, the Spirit was definitely there. It did not let go. It's not letting go.
The Spirit was powerful. So I like that the very first, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. And normally if you need a ship, there's a large body of water that you got to carry across with that ship. So you should be brought again to Egypt with ships. And you look at our history and you see with this enslavement, nobody else was enslaved like us. Like, we are so unique. When the God of Israel say that we're the salt of the earth, like, we're so very much unique in so many different ways. When we're good and when we're bad. We are the salt of the earth. Like, that little bit that you can have all the seasonings in the pot. You'll eat it. He's missing something. He's missing something. What is it missing? Just put a little bit of, all you need is a little bit. So it kind of even makes you think about the remnant and how, certain things are written. Like, the remnant is written. Like, it's not meant for the large populace. Like, it's meant for a remnant. Like, the lie can be relatable to so many different people. That's why you can have, a song and talk about, like, love, all these general ideas, because it's like, oh, we all can relate to that. But it's like, when you start to hone in, not everybody can relate to that. And we talk about truth and the spirit of truth. That is only for a select few. There's a reason why it talks about a remnant. A remnant is already small. And they're saying a small remnant.
Mm-hmm. The world's not complete without us. As a matter of fact, if we weren't here, there wouldn't be a world to begin with.
Right. So that small remnant had a very, very unique experience. And they were brought from a land in Western Africa, and they were brought onto ships to a land that they did not know, right? And it was that spirit of Egypt that was very much, that oppression was a heavy hand of that same spirit of Egypt, right? And you see the correlation. So let's read it over again.
Before we read over.
Go ahead, Joel.
Before we read over. See, when the God of Israel says something, it doesn't have one meaning alone. It means multiple things. So when he says that the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, that doesn't mean we're just going to the same place of sand. There's multiple meanings behind it. It's not just one alone. It's it's, the God of Israel, he's complex and simple at the same time when you think about it. So when he says that, it means we're not going to the same lands of sand. We will be in bondage again, but is it going to be as obvious?
No,
not at all. In fact, if you look at America today, black people are still at the lower level of people. Now, I'm not saying specifically black people. I'm saying the Jacobites, because we already moved on from racial wars. That's long gone, out of here. It's not about the Jacobites. It's not about your skin color. It's not about, because we have many people in the audience here. It's not about skin color. It's about which God you're serving, and who looks at that and says, "No, I don't like." See, Ishakar, he's serving the God of Israel. I don't like him. I don't care that he's black. No. He could be white. He could be black. He could be anything. He could be Asian. He could be American. No, but if he's serving that God and he's not serving mine,
then we have a problem.
Yeah, we got a problem here. That's not, that's not gonna float with me. So when the God of Israel says something, it's not just one meaning, it's multiple meanings. Yeah, so continue on.
You know, my grandfather told me when I was younger, he used to always tell me, well, he told me this once, and I always remembered it. He said, it's not about the color of your skin. It's not about that. That's very minuscule, and that's very short-sighted. But it's about the precepts of the truth. And I hear this conversation all the time. Oh, well, if Jesus was black, why does it matter? If God's black, why does it matter? Why does it matter? But why'd they change it if it doesn't matter?
Yeah.
Why did they change it if it doesn't matter? Why did they go out of their way? Like everything that okay, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but everything that is done by the Catholic Church is in opposition to what is written in the scriptures. Complete opposition. Anybody who claims to be this people, who claims to read from this book, they don't do anything in the book. It's like a mockery. You see the people who call themselves Jews and they're wearing all black from top to the floor. But you read about Abraham and David, and they wore purple and red and blue, all these the colors that the God of us had chosen, right? Right. So the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So it's not the land Egypt, right? As Jesse had talked about.
Joab.
My bad. Not, you both J's, my bad. Right, that Joab talked about. That it's not about the place, but it's about the methods that was used by these people. That spirit of Egypt. What is that spirit of Egypt? What is that driving force of that? Like when I think about a spirit, the scripture says that the spirit quickens the flesh. The spirit, it quickens the flesh.
It moves the flesh. It's what allows you to move and do your everyday task every time you wake up and then eventually go back to sleep. But your spirit leaves your body when you go to sleep. That's why you have dreams, because the spirit is moving around all over the place.
I see you got a comment.
You said the spirit quickens the flesh. I think that goes on for as you said, the spirit of Egypt. It also goes on to wherever the spirit of Egypt goes, because everyone knows that in Egypt they had multiple gods. Come to America and they don't have their own gods, but they take from multiple gods. And they try to even include our God, though imperfectly, obviously. But they have other gods. They have Buddha. They have this. They have that. Like, pick a god, any god. They, false as they may be, they take it just like Egypt had their multiple. The spirit of Egypt came and they brought the same spirit and their false gods with them, just under a different name. Yeah. So I just want to add that too.
Yeah, like this God to take over this position, this God to take over that kind of thing, this God to take over this God to take over that, but can't get to the God of Israel because he is the one true and living God that there is.
Yeah.
They can they can try copying all these other qualities, but it won't be the exact same, or they'll just forget about one.
Yeah. So you got the title. And we already said it, Passover, the declaration of war. But we haven't showed any specifics to it. We brought Isaiah 19, but a lot of people may say, oh, that's a mixed match of things. That doesn't count. So how about we head over to Exodus?
Yes, let's do
Exodus.
that. Let's head over to Exodus. Let's go to Exodus chapter 7. So Egypt is not a place. It's a practice. That spirit of Egypt is a practice to quicken the flesh. That's a highly influential thing, to be able to quicken the flesh. So we're talking about a spiritual influence, right, of Egypt, of multiple gods. They have multiple gods. You see it in Catholicism as well. My grandfather mentioned this morning about all the churches that are, or maybe one of you guys mentioned that, about all the different churches on every single corner. Historically, and biblically, when you read the scriptures, the God of Israel isn't in multiple places. He puts his name in one place, and he stays there. So how is it that I'm able to have a church on this corner, and God is there, and a church on the next corner, and God is there, and you go through the block, and it is 10 churches, and God is in all those different places? Right? That sounds more like a familiar spirit to me. Right. That's what that sounds like to me. But it's like when we're talking about wisdom and exercising wisdom, the context of all these things is very much important. The practices that are used are so important in order for you to entertain that same spirit of wisdom. Because all these different influences, they're not of you. They didn't come of you. Like in scriptures, it talks about don't go off your own understanding, your own knowledge, but it's something that is given to you as a gift of the spirit of discipline, a gift of the spirit of understanding, and a gift of the spirit of wisdom. Okay? So, Exodus chapter 7. So, yeah, go ahead. Let's do the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, See, I have made thee a god, lowercase g, by the way, to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Israel out of his land. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt, and bring forth mine armies and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I stretch forth mine hand upon Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among them. And Moses and Aaron did as the Lord commanded them, so did they. And Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old, when they spake unto Pharaoh. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, Shew a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, Take thy rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. And Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh.
Okay. So, from the beginning, you see, the declaration of war. You see the God of Israel, man, he's antsy, man. He's like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. This is the plan. He laid out the military campaign. And he's like, all right, so this is the plan. I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart. And it's like sometimes it's just like, yo, I wish he was to do something. Like, give me a reason. He's like, oh no, I need a reason. So right, I'm gonna harden his heart, right? And then I'm about to come in, and it's about to be a show from there, right? And he gave the steps, the breakdown of okay, this is the plan, right? So he's going completely against all the gods of Egypt. Pharaoh being one of them. Because Pharaoh was looked at as a god. Pharaoh was looked at as a god as well. He was looked at as the reincarnation of one of their Egyptian gods. They have so many. But he was a reincarnation of that. And it was like, all right, so you're in charge here. Okay. So let me harden your heart, right? Let me show you who's really in control. Right? Okay.
And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh, and before his servants it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, now the magicians of Egypt. They also did in like manner with their enchantments. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. And he hardened Pharaoh's heart, that he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened, he refuseth to let the people go. Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning, lo, he goeth out unto the water, that thou shalt stand by the river's brink, against he come. And the rod which has turned into a serpent shalt thou take in thy hand. And thou shalt say unto him, The Lord God of the Hebrews hath sent me unto thee, saying, Let thy people go, and they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hitherto thou wouldest not hear. Thus saith the Lord, In this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is mine hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish that it... What?
Okay, so we already see that Pharaoh refused. So the God of Israel is like, all right, it's showtime. All right, let's get the show on the road. So here he sent in the first thing. He said he's sending in the first part of the battalion, or the first squadron.
Right.
And if Jesse continued reading,
let's stop there. So
break it down.
He first started at the Nile, right? And he turned the waters into blood.
Now that's already a personal attack against them. Already. Which God is that?
happy. So this is the very interesting part when we was going through the story, when we was reading through the story, and you read about the plagues, and
when you think of the plagues, it seems kind of random. First water, then frogs, then lice, then like why not just send like a meteor to wipe them all out? Why not just get it done with?
right.
But they seem like it's random attacks. But again, the God of Israel has many reasons behind them. It's not just one simple attack.
Right.
Sure, it was a physical attack, but when you look at it in a different way, how the Egyptians see it, Happy is the god of what? Water?
That's the Nile. So the Egyptians have multiple gods. One of their gods being a god of the Nile. His name is Happy. Yes. So and when you're thinking about water too, like water is always like economically and like agriculturally, the water is life. The water is wealth for anywhere as you live. If you live close by the water, normally you're able to control the trade. That's the money. Normally, agriculturally, the soil is richer there. You know, there's so much life. There's a reason why the analogy of let a tree planted by the rivers of water. Because there's so much nutrients that is there to be taken from being planted that close. You'll be a very rich nation if you're by the water, right? So this is the campaign. Let's go ahead and strike their wealth. Let's go ahead and strike the wealth. The water, all right, let's go ahead and go and turn the water into blood. That's gonna mess with the dollar. That's gonna mess with the economy. Not only that, they also have a god of the Nile, don't they? All right.
They do.
They got a god of the Nile. Let me show them who's the god of the Nile. Let me show them who the real god of the Nile. Right? Okay, bet. So
Verse 18. Are we continue reading?
let's go to chapter 8.
Chapter 8.
Let's go to chapter 8. So we acknowledge, so this, like had Joah had said, when you read the story of Passover and we get into the 10 plagues, these are not random occurrences that are happening because of, okay, there's a whole bunch of flies next to us. Send the flies. Okay, oh, they got frogs over there. Send the frogs. Like, it's not coincidental. Like, when you read enough, like, you have to read your Bible. When you read about the characteristics of your Heavenly Father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, He is very, very intentional with everything that He does. So these are not just random attacks. Okay, the Nile is there. Let's go ahead and, no. Okay, the Nile is there. I know that they're close by the Nile, so, you know, the trade is popping right now. Let's turn it into blood. They also have a god of the Nile. Let's go ahead and expose that whole
Shtick.
propaganda, that whole shtick. Let's expose the whole shtick. Shtick? That's what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
Expose the shtick. All right. Where does that come from? Expose. Anyway.
That's only 2 attacks. It's not one.
Right.
Reason.
Exactly.
Two.
It's not one, but it's 2. Okay.
One action, 2 attacks.
All right. Let's go to chapter 8.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, Go unto Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let thy people go, that they may serve me. He said it once again. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs, and the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into thine house, and into thy bedchamber, and upon thy bed, and into the house of thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thine ovens, and into the kneading froes. I think that's how you say it. And the frogs shall come up both on thee, and upon thy people, and upon all thy servants.
Okay. So
Can you imagine that?
Ooh, yeah. Can you?
Just imagine yourself in your own house. You're minding your own business, and all of a sudden you start hearing
Loud
croaking outside.
croaking.
And then something jumps through the window. It's a frog. And then another one appears in your bedroom. And then they keep multiplying out of nowhere. Like, wow.
But you gotta.
I don't think they had any pest control back then. So
No, they were in a desert.
They're in it. Yeah, no.
And then all of a sudden it's now turned into a swamp. All these frogs everywhere. What's going
Well,
on?
to be fair, occurrences like this don't happen often. So they wouldn't need, like, we have snow plows and all that stuff here in Canada because the snow comes often. So we have a maintenance for that. But this is a very particular instance, right? And again, similar to the Nile, right? So there was a god of the Nile. There's another god in Egypt that is a fertility god. And she actually has a head of a frog. And her name is Haket, right? So it's like, all right. So it's like a mockery to this god, right? And this god is like a fertility god. Like, you want fertility, but it's like the frog. When you read about this, about the frogs, it was just like so much that it was actually disgusting. You understand? Like it's taking what you think this God is of fertility and multiplication, be fruitful and multiply. I'm gonna take that and I'm going to put that on its head. Like, oh, multiply, right? Yeah, it's coming, right? Yeah. All right.
Wait, what verse?
Let's go to 16.
16. Exodus 16. Okay. And they took their journey from Elm, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elm and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God...
Reread it.
Exodus 16, you said 16.
I meant verse 16.
Verse 16, my bad. Okay. Exodus chapter 8, verse 16. And the Lord, hold on, give them some time to flip over there.
Yes,
And
chapter
the
8,
Lord
verse
said
16.
unto Moses, Say unto Aaron, Stretch out thy rod and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt. It's disgusting. Lice.
Yeah.
Crawling
Lice.
up all in your hair, in your beard, in your hair, scratching for hours. And they keep on coming. And they did so. For Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast. All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. So there were lice upon man and upon beast.
Okay.
A lot
So,
of magic tricks.
magic tricks. They tried the magic trick. But the trick wasn't tricking. So lice. So even look at how he brought the lice into the situation. So he put his rod into the dust, and then there was a cloud that came up, and it turned to lice, right? That's another Egyptian god.
Which one?
When you talk about the god of the earth, there's an earth god called Geb, right? And it's like he's striking the earth god, and it's like all this lice that's coming to consume the land. And again, this is a declaration of war, I have to remind you, right? These are all different types of gods that everybody, so the culture is that if I'm living in the desert and say I'm a farmer and I need rain in order for me to make a living so the crops can grow and so that I can make a living and live my life and even eat myself, right? I need the rain. So when someone comes to you and presents to you, hey man, you need some rain? Here's a rain god. Here's a storm god to pray to because you need rain in order for you to live. Oh, you guys are there by the Nile? You live there by the Nile? Here's a god of the Nile because I know that this Nile needs to be prosperous for our economy, the trade. Let's pray to this god for this prosperity, right? A complete perversion of all these different, of the method of prayer, of the method of worship, a complete perversion of it to misdirect it so that we can, all right, go ahead and verse the creation and not the creator. Go ahead and pray to the Nile. Pray to the earth, right? Pray to the frog. The frog lady. She literally has a frog head.
So if we continue imagining, so first you already got frogs in your living room, on your table, in your bed, and your hair starts itching everywhere. It's itchy. You're scratching for hours and it just won't stop. Mm-hmm. And then flies start flying around your face and everywhere. Like you can't see anything. It's just bugs everywhere. You got flies, frogs, lice. It's madness.
Mm-hmm. And you can't even wash it off because all the water's blood.
Right?
You
can't even wash it. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. You can't even wash it off. Well, yo, I didn't even think about that. You're coming to real realizations live. You understand? All right. So okay, so you have all these different gods. So you probably not gonna have a chance to read through all of them. We could touch on some of them. Let's go to verse 20 real quick.
Verse 20.
Of chapter 8.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he cometh forth to the water, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. That's the third time now. Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thy houses, and the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies, and also the ground wherein they are. I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end that thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth.
So that's like the reservoir. That's like the safe haven right there, the land of Goshen. And now we're at this plague. Now we're talking about flies now. Let me guess. There's a god of the flies.
Yep.
Lord of the Flies. Who's seen that movie? That's a book, ain't it?
Yes.
I read that. Yeah, I didn't finish that book, and I was supposed to. And I did the Spark Notes in social studies.
But before we go there, back in verse 9, it says, Then the magician said unto Pharaoh, This is the finger of God. So they're already telling him, This is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob's doing. We can't replicate this. But Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. So he's hearing this from his own men, from the people that he's telling them to do this and do that. And they're telling him, well, we can't. This is the God of Israel's doing. So now he's extra mad.
Extra mad. What you got to think about it, too, is when you're involved in spiritual practices like that, like how they are in Egypt, that's ignorance. Like they're doing a lot of things out of ignorance. They have there's a ceiling to that knowledge that they have. So they're able to reach that ceiling, but they're in that realm of spiritual activity, right? So they're able to, conjure a familiar spirit here, conjure a familiar spirit here, and do birthday tricks, right? They're able to do the magic tricks. But they're able to do that and have fun, but not the God of Israel is nowhere to be seen. He doesn't indulge himself in that type of setting, in that type of circumstance. But now that the Lord is coming and he's very much present, now it's just like they're in this spiritual, they play around in this spiritual space, and they're just like, oh wait, this ceiling that I thought was a ceiling, it's not a ceiling at all. Like there's something a lot larger, and they're able to recognize that spirit that's way powerful than the one that they entertain.
It's like playing with fire.
It's like it's like playing with fire. They're used to the little matches, but then like now we have the California flames. They're just like, oh wait, this is a lot, right? So we had the flies. So the flies, and you guys made fun about the Lord of the Flies. There actually is a god of the flies, an insect god for the Egyptians, called Khepri, right? So that's another god that they went. Again, this is a declaration of war. One god versus how many different gods? One versus 10, 20, 50.
And all of them are dropping like flies.
And all of them are dropping like flies, like effortlessly. Like not even like a debatable, like, oh, well, he hit him a few times and, he went and ducked him. And like, this is not a debatable fight. So it's like, he probably could have won all. He took that victory away from him. Like, no, it's clear and it's cut. There's a victor and there's a loser. There's the true and living God. And then there's these imposers who are here calling yourself the insect God. Oh, yeah? All right, bring the insects, guys. See what the insects do about all these insects then. You understand? You understand how it's just like, you see the character of the God of Israel and how he'll put air in his chest for his people? Like, I'm gonna harden Pharaoh's heart because I want to do something bad to him. You understand? I want to do something bad to him, to set him as an example.
Like you said, he's very intentional with what he does too. Auntie Laureline has something.
Yes.
Okay, very short. It's just like when the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob send the flies on them, they were like dead meat, stinking meat.
Yeah.
You know a fly take that?
Yeah.
Why else would the flies be there?
That's what it is.
All right. So we got the fly god out of the way. We went in and took off. Yeah. We went and took the fly god out of here. All right, so we still got a few other plagues. So there is. Let's go to Exodus chapter 9.
Yeah.
And you can read from the beginning there.
All right.
We're just gonna touch on these.
Then the Lord said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh, and tell him, Thus saith the Lord, God of Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For if thou refuse to let them go, and wilt hold them still, behold, the hand of the Lord is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, the sheep. There shall be a very grievous
Moraine. So now look where he's targeting. Again, this is the God of Israel is targeting this nation in so many different areas. He's saucing the ribs up. He's hitting uppercuts. He's getting the leg move. He got him in an arm bar. He has all these different elements. There's no way that he can escape this punishing, man. So you see the cattle, and the cattle. We talk about economics. And we spoke about how the river, that was tied to the trade. And that's tied to the economy of the land. The cattle
is next.
Right? Go ahead and continue, Jesse.
What verse was I at? 4.
4.
And the Lord shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt. There shall nothing die of all that is the children of Israel. And the Lord appointed a set time, saying, Tomorrow the Lord shall do this thing in the land. And the Lord did that thing on the morrow. Mm-hmm. And all the cattle of Egypt died, but of the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. And Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go. So he's persisting. He continues going on. He continues pushing forward, even though he's seeing what's happening to his kingdom.
Right. What do you think this is doing to the Egyptians of the land, the people of the land? How do you think they're taking all of this?
Well, they already got frogs in the house, flies in the house, lice in the house. Y'all go outside, y'all think it was safe, and then you just see dead animals everywhere. Everywhere. But the children of Israel, they're all fine. They're good. They're chilling. Anything else, though, dead. Gone.
Sounds like a horror movie. You walking outside to that, and then you got to clean it up afterwards. Someone's got to clean that.
It's a lot of waste of meat and money.
Yeah, waste of, yeah. That's what a lot of them will probably be thinking, oh, man, I was thinking of eating this cattle, too. I was raising this goat to be curry, man.
Fattening up all the cows, and then
only
they
to
just
see
die.
the next day's dead.
Complete irritation. And it's like when we're talking about a declaration of war, there's a lot of different elements to warfare. And the morale of the people is another, like the mentality, like there's mental warfare. And it's like there's mental warfare being played here when we're talking about this military campaign to destroy Egypt, to expose Egypt, right? I'm sure the people of Egypt are just like, oh man, why is this happening? What we don't got our guys to do something about this? Why is my bull dead? Like, and again, there is a god for there's a bull god in Egypt. His name is Apis. Right? So it's all these different elements. They don't pray to one God for everything. If you want something specific about your cattle, you pray to Apis. If you want something specific for the Nile, you pray to Happy. You understand? Like, no loyalty. There's a reason why she's called the Great Whore. Like, no loyalty at all. Like, all different types of ways, right? So it's like, I can imagine the morale of the people at this time. Pray to Happy, please. All my cattle. Why is nobody praying to Apis and Horus and what's going on? These are supposed to be the god of the flies. Like, who is this god? I never even heard of this god. Right? Can you imagine?
It's not just mental warfare, but it's also economic warfare. Like the water's gone, the cattle's gone. Now Egypt has nothing to trade with. The next time any of their neighbors want to trade with them.
Yeah, it's one thing going through something. It's nothing going through something when you broke. That sounds completely different. Like, that's a different level of agony. Like, like, when am I getting my next meal? Like, that's a different level of.
Yeah.
And they don't have water either. So like they got maybe 3 days max until they just all drop dead.
Yeah, you need the water too. It's crazy. You know, you got to think again, when we're talking about wisdom, it's all these different elements being applied to the story to give it more meat and context, to get a full understanding of what exactly is happening here. Like, how is this a declaration of war? Declaration of war to who? And from who? And then you see the inner workings of that economy and how everything that Egypt has had is because of the children of Israel. It's because of the times of Joseph. If you think about it, Egypt probably wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for Joseph.
Yeah.
Because Joseph came and he went and interpreted the dream, and the Pharaoh was able to prepare in order for Egypt to be prosperous. Who's to say that because, or if Joseph didn't tell him that dream, that would have been the end of Egypt from then?
Yeah.
Who's to say that?
The plagues probably wouldn't even be written in this book.
Right? But it's like you forget, you gotta look at, like, wisdom is understanding that if you're a tree that is planted by the rivers of water, right? That tree has access to so much more nutrients and minerals than a tree that is planted by a lake or planted by a pond, right? It's not a limited source of water and knowledge and wisdom. Like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that tree gets to grow and branch out, and it gets to provide shade for all the other living things that's around that tree. Because you look at a tree, and a tree is, this is y'all topic, because these are the green thumb guys. Because if you look at a tree, like a tree, you think a tree, you look back at a tree, and it's just like as still as a tree. If I was to say I'm as still as a tree, you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you are wise enough and you look close enough, you'll see that tree is very, very much alive. That tree is moving slowly but intentionally. And based on its environment, that tree will be able to provide life for all the life that is around that tree, right? So it's like Joseph was that tree planted by the rivers of water, and he was able to provide that for Egypt up until this Pharaoh here who he ain't got no home training, right? He got no home training. I don't know who raised this guy. They didn't tell him about Moses. Who educated this guy? You don't know about Moses? Yo, we was about to be nothing, but you see the pride there even too. Like, and again, when you make the parallels between Egypt and America, you see the American pride, and you see, I'm very sure there was Egyptian pride. Very sure. These guys was not happy about any of this. How you got? What's your thoughts on that?
What I just said earlier about the whole mental and economic warfare, like all this coming around you, like the Egyptians waking up and just seeing their world and city crumble around them. Like, what would you do in this situation? What can you do in this situation? Why is it happening?
Yeah.
Like all these questions are rising up, but they can't be answered because of all the other stuff that's going to follow along with the already plagues that are happening.
I mean, the God of Israel is just taking his time. He send them one by one. Just so it hits more. Just so, like, instead of sending it all at once, just send it one after another, one after another, one after another. And it's the vital parts of their economy. It's not like, not no small, it's big stuff. So
Right. Once you think you got rid of one, there's another one to deal with. Okay, the bloody, okay, we found a way to filter the water some way, maybe. Okay, now you got the lice. It's just like, oh man, the lice. Okay, maybe, this is the bathing technique that I've been using to getting the lice off. Okay, I appreciate you, big bro. And okay, good, the lice is gone. And then there's the flies. It's just like, you could like having somebody and bringing somebody up to a certain standard and just like breaking them down. Oh my gosh, like, it's torture.
It's humbling too.
It's diabolical.
You heard what Jesse said? No. He said it's humbling. It's humbling. Yes, it very much is. All right. So let's go to the next God, because if you're not following, we're hitting on all these different plagues, but you see that there is a God attached to all these different domains that these guys are supposed to rule over. And the God of Israel is coming in, and he's coming in the land of Egypt. It's like, all right, what's been going on since I haven't been here? What you guys been doing? And they're all scattering like roaches. Like when you turn the lights on in the kitchen, you live in the projects, and all the roaches, it's just like, all right, turn the lights on. Like, what's going on in here, man? Oh, snap. All right. Oh, you the God of the flies, huh? Anyway.
Verse 8.
Let's fast forward. So we talked about the livestock. Let's go to Exodus chapter 9, verse 8.
Verse 8. That's just what we can do.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
My fault.
And the Lord said unto Moses and unto Aaron, take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace. Let Moses sprinkle it towards the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh. It shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast for all the land of Egypt. And they took the ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it up toward heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils, for the boils was upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had spoken unto Moses. And the Lord said unto Moses, Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me.
Okay.
Once again.
So we have the next god following up, Sekhmet, which is a healing god. And it's like, you get the boils now.
That hurts.
It does hurt. I think I'm going to need some healing. So let me pray to this God of healing, but to no avail. All right, let's fast forward. Let's go to verse 13.
Verse 15, already up there. Let's see. Okay, just reread the same verse again, or?
Go to 14.
All right. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. And in very deed, for this cause I have raised thee up, for to shew in thy my power, that my name may be declared through all the earth. As yet exalted thou myself against my people, that thou wilt not let them go. Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as hath not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof even until now. Send therefore now, and gather thy cattle, and all that thou hast in the field, for upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field, thou shalt not be brought home, and the hail shall come down upon them, and they shall die. So now hail's next.
Now hail is next.
In a
Hail
desert.
And fire. In the desert. It's already hot already. And now you're gonna add fire and hail to it. Right? So okay, this is coming down from the sky. There must be a sky god for us to pray to. You know? There's a sky goddess. Her name is Nut. N-U-T. That's her name.
Just nut, like an acorn nut?
Like an acorn nut, yeah. Yeah, her name is Nut. So it's like, all right. Again, this is another domain this is one by one. This is being taken down. All these different types of gods and all the propaganda around them. Because they have propaganda. And it just makes me think about, even look how the magicians are acting right now. Like, they have the boys. It's like a comedy right now. Because it's like they're trying, and it's just like, sir, do something about this. Sir, I can't. You know? It's like, where are your wise men? Like, where are the wise men?
So, since we're running a little time on time, so we're just going to go through a few of them. Next was locusts. Eating up all your coin that you waited a whole year for it to come nice and juicy. No, a bunch of bugs that swim it and eat it in front of your face. You look out the window, you just see bugs swimming around to eat it up, and it's gone. Next one. After the locust, we got...
You know what I learned about locusts the other day?
What?
I learned that they're actually grasshoppers. Like, they're literally the same thing, and it depends. Like, if they're in isolation, this is kind of off topic, but if they're in isolation, they become grasshoppers and calm and cool. But if they're in a cluster, then they become locusts and they start to go crazy and they swarm. But you know, that's just.
So after the locust, we
Hold
got
on.
darkness.
Wait. About the locusts, like, as you're a farmer preparing all of your crops and all of your wheat, corn, and whatever it is, you just wake up, you hear this loud buzzing swarm. Zzz, what's that? You look outside, and you just see all of your crops gone. All of it is happening right in front of you, and you don't know what to do about the swarm. The devastation just happening right in front of you, and you can't do anything about it. That's another economical thing for Egypt. That's gone too.
Yeah.
Water, cattle, and now the crops.
Too bad they don't have fly swatters to deal with it.
Right.
So then next was darkness. So not only is everything gone, but now you can't see. Just close your eyes for a second. And that's what they saw. Nothing. You can't see nothing. You're walking around. You're stumbling around on your hands like,
Right?
come on, where's my house? I walked outside for 10 seconds. Where's my house? Then,
And then they have that's one of their main gods is Ra, is the sun god. Like, Ra, what happened to the sun? You understand? Go ahead, Joab.
and the last one.
Oh, the last one.
The last one.
The last one.
Here, let's read this. Let's read the
Yeah,
last
let's read it. Let's read it.
Yeah.
So we'll
Where is
go
it?
Exodus, that's 11. Well, yeah.
Verse 11 or chapter
Chapter.
11? All right. Job, you want to, or should I?
one. Go ahead.
All right. And the Lord, Exodus chapter 11. And the Lord said unto Moses, Yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon
Final
Egypt.
one.
Afterwards he will let you go. Hence, when he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether.
Okay, let's stop right there.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
The straw that broke the camel's back, and I was reading it in a previous scripture when how the God of Israel was given the instruction. It's just so definite. I love the God of Israel, man. Like, he says it and it's done. Like, he's telling them, all right, I have one more. This is gonna be and he's saying it. This is gonna be the straw that breaks his back.
It's the grand finale.
Right. He's like a military master. Like he's you talk about Sun Tzu, like the art of war. Like he knows. He's like, all right, bet. I'm gonna have one more in store for him. It's gonna be so bad, he's gonna kick you out of there. You understand? And he's foreseeing that, and he's telling you this is what's gonna happen, and it happens verbatim. Like, that's so crazy.
And it'll still hurt even though he's being told about it. Now, verse 2. Speak now in the ears of the people. Let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, and in the sight of the people. And Moses said, Thus saith the Lord, about midnight will I go out in the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. And from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. And there shall be a great cry for all the land, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it any more. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that thy may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. And all these thy servants shall come down unto me, and bow down themselves unto me, saying, Get thee out, and all the people that follow thee, and after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his land.
Following the instructions. I love how we had spoke about, today, we spoke about the instructions and how obedience is way better than sacrifice. And you see the obedience with Moses, and there's a reason why he was able to go up on that mount. Because you see, just without he's a great servant to this cause, to this military cause. He has a reputation for himself. You see how all the servants, they know of Moses. He's coming through. Oh, Moses is here again. No, they hate it. It was like when we was reading about the prophet and how when Samuel had came to the town, and it was just like you come in peace, right? It's because whenever he came, it's normally of bad news. And when Moses came, it was bad news all the time.
It's like seeing someone in your everyday life that you don't like, oh, great, not this guy again.
Yeah.
What's going to happen now?
Right.
What's Pharaoh going to do now?
Right.
What's about to happen? What's something come from the sky, from the ground, my crops?
Right.
Like, what's going to happen? You just see this person and your day's ruined already. Like, oh boy, here we go again.
Like, what could happen at this point? There's been so many things. Up until this point, there's been so many things that has happened that it's like, what else could there be? What else could there be to do to us?
They never saw it coming.
No, they never saw it coming. All right, let's continue. Read to 12.
Chapter 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
Now listen closely.
Pause.
Listen closely. All right, listen closely. Continue.
Hold on. I just wanted to say something. Pause for a sec. So
Yeah.
he said that this will be, the first month. This shall be the first month of the year to you. When we said at the beginning earlier, we said that all the other religions and not religions, but the other world has their own New Year's, right?
All those philosophies.
China has their own New Year. America has their own New Year. Like, this is our New Year. So continuing on verse 3.
You had a point, Joab?
No, I'm just saying, listen closely.
Oh, okay.
Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor take unto his house. Take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood, and strike it on 2 side posts, and on the upper doorpost of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. They shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
Let's pause right there. So we have the instruction that is given. So up until this point, the children has cried to their father, and their father heard them. And so he went and he found a man named Moses, and he told him, I have a job for you. Let's go ahead and you're going to deliver my son for me, right? This is what's going to happen. And so up until this point, in the land of Goshen, if you're in the land of Goshen and you're the son of that father, you're good. You're good up until this point. Now the instruction is being given. Okay, this is what I need from you. This is the God of Israel from his, and this is what I'm saying, you got to read your Bible because you see there's patterns. There's nothing new under the sun, and there's nothing old under the moon. The God of Israel and how he has always been the same. All right, let's get this sifting process going. Let's separate the boys from the men. Let me give the instruction, the order. Let's see what side of the fence you're going to be on. You understand? Like, what side of the fence you're going to be on, the instruction.
So what do we know this as? What we just got, what do we know it as? Anybody in the congregation? The cooking the lamb, the unleavened bread, the bitter head. What is it known as?
Passover, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we were told that this is where the Passover is gave to us. This is where it happened, and we still plan to keep it through generation to generation to generation, no
And
matter
beyond,
what.
and beyond the 40 years too.
Yeah.
Right.
This is after our new year. This is the beginning of our new year, if that makes sense. First month, 14th day, the lamb, the unleavened bread, the bitter herbs. And then why we do this. Like, we do this so that we remember what it was like in the days of old in Egypt, when the God of Israel and Moses came to help our people, when they came to bring us out of Egypt, and when they also went to punish Pharaoh for keeping us as well.
Do you guys see any parallels now? Not because now we're coming into the full circle part of this declaration of war, right? We're getting into the Passover now, and now with this declaration of war, there's a standard that's being set now. It's not just I'm taking my son to work day, and he's seeing how cool I am at my job. Now it's like, all right, now I need you to do something. Show me who you really are. Right? Here's the instruction. And we read about the instruction, how you're supposed to take the lamb from 10 days. Very particular, man. Very particular. Kill it on the 14th. Like, okay, this gives character to the person giving the instruction. very particular as far as how he needs this to be done. You can't have this same God on the corner in Brooklyn and Canarsie with at Seventh-day Baptist Church, and these guys is doing whatever they're doing at their church. You can't have this same God there. You can't have this same God over whatever they're doing. Anywhere where where you have people doing a spiritual practice and they say that they're calling upon God, there's no way they're calling on this God. Mm-mm. There's no way. There's no way, because they're making their own rules. But this guy, he's very particular as far as if you want to be safe and you want to be good and you want your firstborn child to live, this is what I'm gonna need you to do. If you need me there to deliver you out of that situation and you going to war against the Amalekites, you need me to be there, this is what I need you to do. Right? Very, very precise, man. This guy's a genius. Okay, anyway.
Also, when you think of it, it's like a trade-off. Mm-hmm. So the God of Israel said, all right, I'm going to get y'all out of Egypt. I'm gonna send 10 things on them. Very personalized. I'm mocking them. Just for y'all to get out. And all I'm asking is for you to keep a Passover. That's it. That's it. Mm-hmm. Nothing, no executions, no sacrifices, just a Passover.
Right. And he made that demand at a good place too, because he already showed his hand already. He already showed what he's capable of. And one of my elders, he told me a quote. I can't remember the quote verbatim, but he was talking about peace. And he was like, in times of peace, you got to prepare for war, right? But in order for you to maintain peace, there has to be like the inclination of war happening. Like, you can't just have peace because everybody's a nice guy. Like, that's not how you work. Like, you're the same people in this book. That's not how you work. Like, the God of Israel needs to show his hand. All right, now this is what I'm gonna need you to do. After he done showed his hand, kill mad people. You understand? Okay, yes, whatever you need. What do you need me to do? But I don't think anybody who has the audacity to not listen to the God of Israel at this point, at this period of time. Who has the audacity after he showed his hand? And so, well, who has it? Who has it? I feel like there were still people. Yeah, I just knowing Israelites, I just feel like
don't worry.
He gave the instruction, and there was people who was just
we're the only people that saw it and then went against it. So we'll keep eating. Mm-hmm.
All right, you go ahead, keep Jesse.
Verse 9. See, eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire his head with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. Ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
All right, that's good. That's good. Whew. Very firm. Think about the man the God of Israel is. He's a man. He's a man. I am the Lord. When he says it, it's done. It's done. How's that feel? Okay, so now we're at this point now. It's the Passover. It's the declaration. This is the war against all gods. We literally just read it about the war against all these gods. I am the Lord alone. I am the Lord.
Not to be confused, because many other people would also say Lord this, Lord that, but it's the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
Amen.
That's who we're talking about as in our Lord.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Someone has something to say. Auntie Sophie.
And before you make your point, to add to Jesse's point, that's our Lord. That's the name that he gave us. Mm-hmm. And we read just now when it talked about this shall be a new month unto you. Like, this is a gift unto you. But go ahead, Auntie Sophie.
I fully agree with that. I think as you guys are reading, I am just really thinking about the separation of this God and everybody else. The blessings to understand what you guys are reading and nobody else understands it. And plus, you wouldn't think this is our culture, like black people. We are the bottom of the totem pole. Like, we are really at the bottom. Nothing in this world belongs to us. And everything that we were given was taken away. So definitely you would not be thinking that all these gifts, all this preparation, all this separation belongs to a people like us, because from birth of generation to generations, we were brought up to be nothing. And I think as you guys are reading, the mindset is also changing to say it's not just a fear. It is not just a fear, because if you see the strength of this God, it's beyond fear. It's like when he does stuff in the scriptures and all the other nation, they trembled. I think that would be the same way of this world. If we as a people come back together, as Elder said this morning, like one accord for one cause, the earth will be flattened. The God of Israel goes before us and do whatever he has to do. But I don't know when that time will come, but I believe if it does come, it's just different, because right now it is different. This week at work, I wasn't even saying anything to anyone about even that's my Passover time coming, just nothing. And then all of a sudden my manager comes up to me, and I'm the only one at work. And that's 1,700 employees, I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden she comes and she said, "Oh, so is this the time that you start removing everything from your house?" So I'm looking at her, I'm like, "Rizarda, you remember?" She goes, "Yes, this is a time. Isn't this the time that you start doing all these things? So we have to look about like how the times that you come into work, we have to change everything around this time for you. Isn't this your time?" I said, "Rizarda, it's so good that you remember. So I'll tell you the times I'm gonna need, when it comes. But it starts at this day. But again, it is so different, because even at work they talk. There was a lady too, like in my group, and she's Ramadan, and they were talking about, "Oh my gosh, it's so hard. She has to fast." But I said, "But she eats at night. What kind of fasting is she doing?" And they're looking at me, they're like, "What do you mean?" I said, she's sitting right there. I said, "Well, she just goes and she doesn't eat in the day, but she's doing a feast at night. She's eating as much as she can."
That's intermittent fasting.
Yeah. I said, "It's not." I said, "If you want to talk about true fasting," the lady's there, she's looking at me. I said, "Yeah." I said, we fast. I mean, we could go 1, 3, 7, 40. I'm like, "Fast?" And she goes, "Fast?" I said, "Yes." And the black lady comes and she goes, "Fast?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "Yeah, but you guys eat at a certain time." I said, "No, everything we do is just so different. It's like they can't understand it." And once we sit here and we're understanding, but I just want everyone to understand the blessing of what we're receiving even right now, even to understand that this belongs to us. No one understands. There's a black lady at work. She goes, "We can't do that." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You mean no water?" No. I said, "No, nothing dry. We have to go dry fast. No, nothing." She goes, She walk away. She puts her hand like this. She goes, "We can't do that." They don't think it belongs to us. It's always somebody else. They're in awe by somebody else. But when it's you as a people, they're never in awe. It's like, "Oh my gosh, why are you doing that?" That's too. But somebody else, "Oh my gosh, you're fasting," but they're eating at night. But to them, it's like they will take it on. We take on everything from everybody, but it was given to us as a gift. Today we have no gift. We're fighting for the gift. Mm-hmm. So I'm just thankful again for the Israelite nation, for our elder, for the council, because I am not just sitting here just receiving the lesson. I don't know, man. It's overwhelming that the blessings that we have been given to even understand what we're understanding, and then not just understanding, but separating from the world. Everything here is separation. Go and do this, go and do this, go and do this. Like everything is separation. And we're given this gift. So I'm just hoping everybody receives the gift in the same way it was given. Because again, it is for protection. It is for our life. We are fighting even in this time for our life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well spoken.
Well spoken. We are fighting in this time, even for our life. Even in this time. And it's like in that time, they were fighting. We read about the blood being put on the doorpost. Like they're doing it for their children, for the firstborn children. It's like we're in the same situation. Where it's like now we've come to a point where it's like you have to make a decision. And I loved how you were the example. Like you're living out the prophecy. The prophecy talks about you should be the head and not the tail. And it's like the world doesn't change by your opinion, but by your example. And it's just like, okay. Oh, I understand because I'm assuming you don't play about your holy days. You don't play about it. So she knew, she remembered that. You understand? Like, don't forget, remember. And I feel like us as children of Jacob, children of Israel, our ilk that we were like cut from is just, you talk about how we don't have nothing. And we have nothing. But it's like everybody want to be like us still. Why? Everybody want to be like us. We have nothing. We're the lowest of the totem pole. Everybody, we're a byword to all these other nations. But everyone, like we have an influence, even when we have nothing. So you could just imagine. You could just imagine when we all come together, we can see it, right? When we all come together, we ask for that gift and we receive that gift as a people. Then that makes sense. Oh, they should be the head and not the tail. Right? I can only imagine even the influence in this time, like, because these are the same us. We're the same people. You can imagine how we were downtrodden, we were oppressed in Egypt. I'm sure we was doing something, oh, we see how you wearing his scarf, like, oh, let me wear his scarf like that, like styling, like, we're literally like, the things that great nations try to control in people, like what they would give up, what they would sell for that type of power and influence, black people have it natural. With nothing, right? So we have to come to a realization as far as who we are and who we're tied to and who we're connected to. Like our Father went and waged war against all the gods of the earth. Every single last one of them.
So, after the Passover, we ate and we left Egypt. Pharaoh didn't want us there. He was kicking us out, like, get out of the land, out of my land, out of here. You already killed my animals. You poisoned my water. Get out of here. So we're in the wilderness now, and we were in the wilderness for 40 years. Now I'm sure you've heard on a few other lessons the mention of 40 years for us, and it's a big thing. It's not something to take lightly, because in the wilderness for 40 years there was a cleaning process. There was a separation of. Are you really Israel? Like, are you willing to die for this? Like,
they say it's a separation of the wheat from the shaft.
Yeah, are you really willing to do anything that the God of Israel says? Like, hey, like I'll place him, but man, I got work on Saturday. Is it? But I don't want to get fired from my job. So so it was a separation between the two. So it's. You could say it's like a civil war in Israel, but when you look at it, it is a separation. And for our 40 years that's coming up, throughout what I've seen, there's been many people that left, there's been many people that joined in. But when you look at it as a big picture, it's that same cleaning process for 40 years. It's the same vibe, same energy. So. Going into
that reminds me. Oh my God, I hate that I'm talking so much, but that reminded me of something that Tamar told me. Well, she said, was it yesterday? Today's Saturday. It was Thursday. She said, "We have suffered no losses." It's something that she said, that she told me. We have suffered no losses. Like really, if you think about it, and then you read about the scriptures, and there was a lot of quote unquote loss. But like you said, Jesse, like we're at this point now, okay.
Joff.
Oh man, I keep doing that. I'm like, your dad never does that where you be like, Jesse,
No.
I'm in Joab. He doesn't do that?
No.
He calls y'all by every time? Oh wow, maybe it's just my mama. All right. My mom is just like, Chris, Crystal, Micah, Chris. She'll call all the other names before my name. But anyway. We have this declaration of war. So like Joab said, and I'll be respectful, call you by your name. Like Joab said, we've now, you see the characteristics of our Heavenly Father, and he doesn't let up. Like he applies more pressure. He doesn't let up. When he puts his hand there, his hand doesn't let up. He applies more pressure. So now he started the pressure at the Passover. This is the instruction. All right, who's gonna follow the instruction? I know I put my hand was pretty heavy in these past couple of days. Who's gonna follow the instruction? All right, everybody follow the instruction. Now we get to a point where we're at the Red Sea now. okay, we gotta cross over into a place that I have no idea where I'm about to go. I have no idea where I'm about to go. Now, Joab had said, we're bringing this around full circle. And this title was a seasonal one because we're now in the season, because the people at this time, they were free. Like technically, they were free. Like they've been delivered from the oppression of that spirit of Egypt and brought into a place that they can't even find their way out of. Nobody can find them, matter of fact. They're brought to a secret place. And then it was just like, I was reading the scriptures the other day, and it was talking about tried like gold and silver. What's that? What's that mean to y'all? Tried like gold and silver. Like, cause I'm thinking of Joab's point. We says, okay, the 40 years now. We're getting into our 40th year now to this new year. And this New Year season is Passover season. So it's like, where are we? Are we at the Red Sea? Are we about to cross? Did we just cross? Are we in the wilderness, wandering around for 40 years, being swallowed up by the earth? Are we at Jordan, where the sea saluted us once again? Like, where are we? Go ahead.
I just wanted to bring up the fact that when you guys were mentioning the 40 years, I've heard that 40 years is like the beginning of a new generation for certain places. And I just wanted to bring up the fact that it's more than just a separation, or I should use another word that even from the days of Abraham, it was used to separate Abraham from the rest of the Chaldeans, called circumcision. And it seems like that during that 40 years, it's like a circumcision within the circumcision, as in Israel, to get to the promised land, because that's what they were given to. And it's only certain people, you have to be circumcised to get into the land, just like during Passover. You can't be uncircumcised in the Passover. So you have to be circumcised, again, almost spiritually circumcised, to get into the promised land. So I just wanted to put that out in there too. Okay.
I hear what you're saying. I caught it there at the end. Yeah, the circumcision, again, that's even going back to the intentionality by the God of Israel. The circumcision, and how you can't be a part of that flock if you're not abiding by those rules, that you're not following that instruction. And the circumcision being the very least of them. Like you at least needs to be circumcised before I could give you anything else, before you could even partake in my Passover, right? So that puts weight to the word of the God of Israel, and there's intention behind everything. And you don't always need to know it all. You don't need to know everything. But it's about, like how Samuel had said, that obedience is better than sacrifice.
It's even what you said earlier, tried like silver and tried like gold. Like, it's going through the refinement process for Israel. Like, seeing who's Israel and who's not Israel. It's like, when it says tried like gold and silver, I'm thinking of like the hammers being beaten onto it going for the fire, it going for the stress, in order to be molded into the desired shape of whatever that you want it to be. Right? That's what I'm thinking. And that's the same thing for Israel too, on these 40 years as well.
Yeah, it's like separating the gold from copper. Like, let's see what's really here for me. Like, what's precious. Yes. What do I see? What do I see that's in my eyes? I don't want copper. I want gold.
He wants
that solid bar of gold. You don't want no copper mixed in. No.
Yeah. But in order for you to get the copper out of the gold, you have to put a lot of heat to it. Damn near, right? And you have to put the hammer to it to get all these, basically separate the wheat from the chaff, get the impurities out of it, right?
Even for animals too, like, get all the stuff that you don't want out of there and get the good stuff that you want out of it as well.
And it took 40 years in the wilderness for that.
Yeah.
And when you look at that in modern day, like now, over 40 years ago, the God of Israel's name was first mentioned by Elder Shadrach. And for centuries, it wasn't called, ever, since whatever time this took place, to slavery, to now, to today's current day. 40 years ago, that's when the refinement, it kicked up. It's starting the engine again. Like, working its way through 40 years through good, bad, impurities, getting rid of what's not needed, getting rid of. So the 40 years that we're going into, definitely something big.
The blacksmith of the God of Israel has picked up his hammer, got his minerals ready, and has started molding.
And he has started molding. So we're now at the we're at the end. So us here in modern day, we're at the end of a 40-year journey. And to your point, you had said that what did you say? You said there's like a purification process, like a renewal. That's what you said, right?
Circumcision.
A circumcision within a circumcision?
Or within the circumcision.
I wouldn't say that.
Because I mentioned that because we're already circumcised to be Israel. But then circumcision is the.
There are levels, right?
Yeah,
There's a physical circumcision, but there's a circumcision of the heart. And what does that even mean, to circumcise the heart? I understand what you're saying. So 40 years, Jesse had mentioned that it's a purification process. Like that is a process to. And I remember you said a generation dies off.
Yeah.
Yes. That was yes, a generation dies off. Like it's like the old wine is, you have to sometimes, in order to put something new here, to go into this land of Canaan, like these people got to get out in order for me to establish something here. And in order for me to, same thing with the truth. In order for me to establish the truth, I have to get the lie out of there before it can be established. Right? Because the foundations of things is so important. Okay, we're 40 years. Okay, this is good. Okay, we're cooking. So it's 40 years. We're at the 40. This is the end of the 40, the beginning of a new year. And the end of a generation, so to speak. Not the end of it, but you see a transition. Even with certain responsibilities, you're seeing, okay, somebody has to take the mantle. That's when you start asking those questions. Who's going to take the mantle? Right? Now that we're free, what is exactly the cost of this freedom? Right?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you guys when you think about the next 40 years? Because we are free now. But what do you think the next 40 years? What y'all think? The next 40 years, what does that look like?
The next 40 years, well,
As a free people, free
people. Wow,
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of.
that's a good question.
Yeah.
Depends on what you do with that freedom and how
Depends
you
on what
use
you-
it and what your choices are with that, how you act and what your actions are.
Okay, I like that. So there's choices. We're given choices. Now that you have freedom, I love that. So they came to a point now that they're in the wilderness, wandering for 40 years, or even prior to that, they were given a choice, right? And now there's a weight to that choice now. Now that you're free to make a choice. Now, what choice are you going to make? Go ahead, Auntie Sophie.
So as you were speaking about the 40 years, a thought that came to me was, because it was the older ones, and then the young ones came out. So I'm just thinking, you still have a remnant. So it's like I'm me, but then I have Tamar. So if I didn't listen, and came out of Egypt, but I want to go back. Like the mindset is, I want to go back. I am not doing the culture. I'm not doing certain things that I should be an example to the next generation. So I am just thinking, even maybe at that time too, it's the God of Israel is like, when you have stubborn and stiff-necked people, then you try with the next generation. So clean them out. Mm-hmm. They're not listening. They're not doing this. They're supposed to be the example. We're starting off with them. I'm bringing them out, so they're supposed to be telling my story, what I did for them because they were enslaved. But what they're doing is, kind of telling, we want to go back. We remember this, remember that, and the onions and the leeks and all these things, the good things that happened to us in Egypt. So you know what? Let's start. It's still a remnant of them. So let's start with the younger ones and see what we can do now. And I think it's the same even now going into our 40th year. Again, it's the 400 years starts with us. And again, it's what we do. What is the example that we're given to the next generation coming up? And I think even going in now, that we should put that also at the forefront of our mind going into the 40th year. It's becoming accountable for self, becoming accountable for each other, and just do more of walking the walk and talking the talk. Because we do have to think about the next generation, where we don't want everybody to be wiped out. We really don't, because we do need the wisdom, of the ones that went before us. So again, going in, I think a lot of that is also on the mindset, just from what you just said.
Yeah. And you know, the wisdom can be given to you in ways that are indirect to the person, right? Like, are you at a place where, like, think about, like, the next 40 years, if it's written about you, like, are we gonna be, is the future gonna be reading about you like how we read about our ancestors in the 40 years when you are a lesson to be learned? Don't do this. Or are you gonna be an example as far as, yo, look at, I was reading about Samuel the other day, and Samuel, oh my gosh. And he was a lover, but he did what he was supposed to do, regardless of how he felt, regardless of how much it hurt. Right? Go ahead, Ezekiel.
Yeah, I really like the topic, Passover, a declaration of war. And there's just so much I want to say. I know we're running out of time, so I'll keep it short and sweet. But even to answer your question of 40 years, in the parallel between what it was in the time of Egypt, in the time of Moses, and what it is today, and I think there's a lot of parallels. In that time, you see that Moses was setting the foundation. And you have to remember that we came in, they left Egypt in a mixed multitude. So it wasn't just Israelites. You have other Egyptians that are probably dwelling there among them. And even people from other nations as well. And so everyone's ideologies and thoughts are co-mingling. And you have to set the precedent. And that's what Moses did when he went onto the mountaintop and established the laws, the statutes, the commandments, just to provide that order and regulation. And then today, here we are in the 21st century, where our elder Shadrach has done the same thing with the colors, with the Constitution, letting us know the name of our God, bringing us back to here as a people. And so when you see those two things together, it's like, wow, it's really amazing. Like we read about history, and here we are experiencing it today in this period coming towards the end of the 40 years. And so in my mind, it's a quote that comes to my mind. I think I got it from Kung Fu Panda, I don't know. But it goes like this, the past does not dare to tell the present that the future can't change. The past exists for the future. And now that we see what we went through before.
Say that again?
The past is not there to tell the present that the future can't change. The past exists for the future. And so having the ability to reflect back on the Bible and looking what we went through as a people in the book of Exodus and seeing where we are today now, in my point of view, it's like, I think it's the perfect time to actually double down and to remember who we are as a people, to hold on tightly to our identity, to not give it up easily, to fear the Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob with all our heart, soul, and being, so that we can stay on this straight and narrow path. Because this is a path of endurance. The race is not for the swift. And I would pray and hope as we're going in and we're crossing over, we're coming out of this into this new season, that we'll continue to abide by the law, statutes, and commandments, that we'll continue to serve the God of Israel with all our heart, soul, body, and being. And we don't take any of this for granted, because who knows what can happen after that. Well, we know what happened. The past shows us what happened. There was the whole judges and everything, going to slavery there, here, and everywhere. But yeah, that's just my little 2 cents. But yeah, the lesson is great.
To add on to what you just said, Ezekiel, when you said that Moses and Elder Shadrach is kind of the same. It's kind of like when Moses went to the burning bush, saw that it wasn't burning, and answered the God of Israel's call. Elder Shadrach also answered his call as well. And what Job said earlier, even before the 40 years started, what's been brewing over all of that time? All these other churches, all these other palaces, and all these other St. Joseph, St. Anthony's, St. Peter's, St. Marcelina's, and St. whoever. You have all of these, but not the true and living God, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, that Elder has answered. So that's what I got from that.
Good. What about you, Joab? You have any? Yeah, I know. You have any final says? That was good.
My final say? Well, I know it's a lot to take in within 2 hours, and we had to fly through a few parts, but I'm sure someone else will pick it up. So if I wanted you to leave with 2 things from this lesson, one would be that compared from Egypt and America, it's the same spirit, not the same place, but the same people that built it up. It was the children of Jacob that built up Egypt, and the children of Jacob that built up America. All right? It may seem the same, but there's a few key differences, like the land, how many, I don't know. It's just, there's so many things to go over. It's just,
the actual people are not the same,
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about that spirit that's there.
Yeah. And the second thing is the cost of freedom. What do you think the cost of freedom is? Think about it in a whole. Like when you go and account for everything. Let's say like absolute freedom. No, nothing in your way. You're just free.
You get to eat what you want, drink what you want, do what you want, think what you want,
There's still
everything.
Lost,
huh?
There's still lost from the God of Israel.
Oh yeah. But
we just went over why 40 years of cleansing.
That's a good question, Joab.
good thing you mentioned that.
So yeah, two things I want to leave you with would be one, God of Israel over everything. No matter the gods of Egypt, no matter how many gods there are,
We're saints.
They're little fractions. They need, like look at what they need to mimic a fraction of his power. Just that small bit, and he could just flick them away, just like a little fly. Just get out of here.
Yeah.
All like that.
Yeah. They have to bargain with their gods.
Yeah.
And offer them wine and cigarettes and
all this physical stuff.
All this physical stuff, because that's how they're revealing who they really are and what they really are. It's just like a familiar spirit just trying to be alive again. Man, let me get some of that fleshly stuff. Give me a cigarette, man. Give me a, you got to understand what you're dealing with. And to your question about the 40 years, there is a scripture that I wanted to read. I wanted to read Deuteronomy chapter 8. I just want to read the second verse because it talks about the wilderness and that 40 years. So I'll read 1 and 2. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live, that you may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. Right. So this is after the 400 years. This just to give context. I read the first verse, but I wanted to get into the second verse. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led these 40 years in the wilderness. Led thee these 40 years in the wilderness. Why? To humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
Let's think about that. Let's think about what.
Oh, let it marinate?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let it marinate?
Yeah, let it marinate.
So the children of Israel were free, and they were brought with their freedom to the wilderness, which seems like, I can't even get out of here. And they were put through, like you said, Joab, a refinement process. Was it Joab or Juicy?
Both of us.
Both of you. A refinement process, a process separating the wheat from the shaft. And then you read here in Deuteronomy, you were brought into the wilderness to humble thee and to prove thee. Yeah. So where are we? Are we in the wilderness right now? Yes. No. Ooh. Somebody saying no? Go ahead, say what y'all think.
We still getting separated. We still got
What you think? I just hope he's getting up. With her Tim Hortons cup. What do you think? Are we we're in the 40 years? We're in the wilderness?
I think we are in the wilderness, but I think we are, because we have to think about it that after 400 years, we're just coming into knowing who we are. So it's not like we knew about it before. You could only go against something once you know about it. Yeah. And this is the time that we came into it. So now we're going in, you know what I mean? The 40th year is now for us. So it's not like we're in the wilderness. And again, it's because of our mentality of the children of Jacob. Our mentality, we need to be humble because we forget that, I was telling Danielle, that nobody wanted us. Like everybody was claimed upon the face of the earth except for us. We were still covered in blood. The God of Israel had to come in. Nobody wanted us, and he had to clean us up and give us the fine clothing. We forget that. Because now that we're in the fine clothing, we're just showing off, and we forgot where it came from, that we were naked. So I think we are in this wilderness, and we have to be humbled. And you can't serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob without being humbled. Because you can't learn, you can't evolve without being humbled. And we have to be humbled. And if we're not humbled, we think humble is just being humbled to the God of Israel. I think being humbled is also to each other, to learn how to deal with issues. It's everything. Get rid of the own wine. There's so many things that we need to be humbled about that we are just not humbled about. And I think that's what it is. So I think we are in the wilderness because we're just coming into knowing who we are as a people.
Right. All right, go. You got me. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so
You gotta be quick.
I was thinking about the being tried and prove whether
Yes.
to see we would follow the God of Israel ways or no. And if we're not going to make it past the 40 years. And if we are, then we'll get to move on into the next, or with the next generation.
Right. Right. Yes. You know, I love the thing Auntie Sophie said, and I love in general that I can have a thought by myself in my room, and I'll come here, and that same thought will be talked about and be like, oh, I had that same thought. Like that same spirit is like circulating around us. And when Auntie Sophie talked about humility, and I was thinking about the characteristics of a soul that will be accepted into the kingdom of God. And it's like humility is always, you don't ever outgrow yourself. You don't ever outgrow humility. You don't ever get to a point where it's like, I don't need to be humble. You don't ever get to that point. Because in order for you to learn, you have to be humble. In order for you to teach, you have to learn and you have to be humble. You understand? And it's like you're supposed to be the head and not the tail. So you're supposed to teach, but it's not just because you know everything. It's because you have been selected to receive this gift, right? You have been selected and brought here into a secret place. All right. Amen. All right, you listening? This is what I have for you. And guess what? You're supposed to be the head and not the tail, right? And you're gonna go and you're gonna be tried like gold, and I will separate the wheat from the shaft. But just know, like how I'll talk about the story about Egypt and how everything that I said, it came true. So just know, scriptures talk about faith and how unwavering faith. You can't ask anything of God if you don't have any type of faith. Right? And the people of Israel, they came into the wilderness because they didn't have any faith. They wanted to go back to Egypt again. And I was reading the Psalms the other day about how disrespectful it is to, not only did you disregard the God of Israel, but you went and built up new ones. And it was like, you don't need to get gold and melt gold down and make a calf in order for you to make an idol.
Yeah.
You can make idols of a whole lot of different things. They talk about the love of money being the root of all evil. What does that mean? Am I making a money god? I see that. Am I making a money god? I'm not making no money. What? It's what is in your heart. When the Lord says, circumcise your heart, let the laws be written inside your heart, that is a powerful place to put anything.
I think that's a mic drop moment.
Yeah.
So, with that, I'd like to see you guys at the next lesson.
That's the actual time.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I still have 4 minutes.
At the next lesson.
Okay. All right.
And with
Any
that-
last thoughts? That was the last thought?
Yeah. And
That was the
with
last
that,
thought, wasn't it?
I say peace.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Oh boy.
That was good.
We got